And we're live. Welcome back to the Entrepreneurial Show channel. Show? Channel. Let's go with channel.
Channel.
Channel. Channel. Today we've got, man, I'm always pointing the wrong way. Checkmate Flips with us again. Good friend Seth, both full-time Amazon sellers. And today I thought we could talk a little bit about kind of our lifestyle approach to how we work in our Amazon business. So kind of, I came from a full-time job into this, more traditional. Well, it was the Army. It's like 24/7, but closer to a 8 to 5 kind of scenario where my mindset was I've worked really hard if I've put in X number of hours. I've done a full 8 hour, 10 hour day. That means I accomplished a lot of really, really good stuff. And I think that's how most people in our society currently think about work. It's a quantity of hours and not necessarily a quality of those hours. And so when I switched to this full-time reselling, I've really had a hard time switching my perspective to maybe some days all I need to work is 2 to 3 hours because those are super focused hours and I find really good inventory. I really accomplish what I need to. But still, at the end of the day, I feel like I didn't accomplish much because I didn't work 10 hours. So I'm kind of interested in your perspective, Seth, and if you've struggled with that as well, or how you structure your work day. Do you work every day from like 8 a.m. to noon, or is it just kind of like when you feel like it, you work a couple hours, then you go on a hike and drink some veggie smoothies? Oh, there it is. I knew he had it.
Oh yeah, this is such an important question. It's yeah. Just because you work 10 hours in a day doesn't mean that you're productive. Actually, I mean, oftentimes it just means you spun your wheels. I was actually listening to a Graham Stephan video today, and it was kind of talking about the like the quiet quitting or whatever that thing is where basically people instead of wanting to overachieve and like really do the best in their jobs, they're like, I'm going to do the bare minimum and just get by my job and et cetera, et cetera. And a statistic was in there that the average person at work only is actually working on work-related tasks for 2 hours and 53 minutes a day.
Whoa.
So like, I'm sure it's different based on the study or whatever, what type of company, whatever it is. But like people, like you don't have to have an 8 or 9 hour day. There's something called the Parkinson's theory. I think it's called that, where the task expands to however long you give it. So definitely we got to keep that in mind when it comes to work, because like if we can crush it for 2 hours, we can get a lot done. I sometimes find if I give myself like all day to do stuff, I end up doing stuff that's not necessary. Maybe those things are helpful to my business, but they're not necessarily importantly needed. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I definitely agree with your comment there on if you give yourself 8 hours, the task will fill 8 hours. And sometimes in my case, I won't even be done with the task in 8 hours. I know in school, particularly in college, I was always more of a procrastinator. And so say you get a project, professor gives you, your teacher gives you, you have a month to work on it. I might do like, oh yeah, I'm going to do this one ahead of time. That means I like maybe do 10% of it in the first 3 weeks. And then that last week I'm like, shoot, I really need to get started on that. And then we get down to the last 2 days and that's when I would naturally crank it out and get it done. And sometimes not my best work. Sometimes it worked out okay because I had that really tight time constraint there that motivated me to be really focused and get it done. And I think that's how my mind works. I think a lot of people work that way. Might not work for everyone. And so yeah, it's really important to be aware of that, especially when your work situation is at home. I assume that I think you work from home most of the time. You don't go to a coffee shop or something like that.
I used to, but I mostly work from home these days. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's really hard sometimes, or I found it to be really hard to place a barrier between work and life when work is right here in my pocket, right? You can do a
Right.
lot of Amazon stuff from your phone, and the stuff you can't do from a phone, you do on a laptop, and that laptop can go anywhere in your house. I've got kind of two offices in my house for our different businesses, and so it's super accessible. I just stumble down the stairs or stumble up the stairs, depending on where I'm headed that day, and it 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 can be hard to relax a little and detach from that business. And so, yeah, I've had better success giving myself kind of strict. I'm gonna work for 2 hours. I've never been able to like. I'm gonna only work from 8 to noon. That just doesn't work. My lifestyle and hanging out with my family and stuff. We don't have very rigid schedules and stuff. Very fluid. So I might work today for 2 or 3 hours this afternoon. Tomorrow I might do it in the morning. Um, is there a particular time of day that works best for you?
Yeah, for me, it's kind of a similar type thing for me as well. Not as much so for you because you have kiddos running around, but yeah, for me, it works better if there can be a little bit of fluidity. I am very much so not a fluid type person. Like, I really like my structure. I really do get in the zone and like want to work and just like not focus on anything else. Um, but like learning to let go of that has been a really good thing for me, and like Amazon is a really good thing for that, because I can take a second and like talk to my wife, or like take a second and do something around the house if I have to. I find best for myself. What are they called? They're basically where you give yourself a 2 or 3 hour segment, and then you work like 25 minutes and then 5 minutes break, and then 25 minutes and 5 minutes break. Or you can do like a 45 minute with a 15-minute break, and then just do that for the 2 or 3 hours. I find those to be very, very helpful for myself if I do that. Because like with that, there's expectation of, okay, within these 25 minutes, I'm going to be completely focused on work. And then like, if something comes up in the house or whatever that I need to talk to someone about, like I can deal with it in the 5 minutes or whatever. I find that to be really helpful for me. And you kind of, yeah, the Pomodoro method. Yeah, Jose. Yeah. You can even like type that into YouTube, and like someone will guide you with the Pomodoro method too, which is pretty interesting.
So it's shorter blocks of really intense focused work with a scheduled break is the idea.
Right. And like I'll literally like put it up on my phone, and a timer will go off in 25 minutes. That way I don't think about like how long I'm going to work. I just work, and then the timer goes off. Maybe I'll finish something up for a minute, but that's
Okay.
Have you ever tried something like that?
No, not really. I I really need to structure my work a little bit better. Usually I sit down and I'm like, okay, let's buy some stuff for the internet to sell on Amazon. And that's kind of like my structure of what I'm doing today. And then
Yeah.
there's lots of rabbit trails that I go down. It's like, oh yeah, I think I saw I got a bad feedback. I need to go check on that, try to get that removed. Or let's go check on the health metrics. And I get really distracted and go down rabbit trails. Or let's go check in on the VA and this particular project I gave her, which it's all stuff that needs to be done. But I know I'm fairly inefficient about how I'm going about it because I go down these rabbit trails. I'm like, deep into a Keepa, and then it's like, oh, I got to remove that feedback, and I'll open another tab, and then I'll come back to that Keepa 20 minutes later after that rabbit trail and be like, what was I looking at again?
Yeah, definitely. That always there's kind of a bunch of different balls or eggs that we're juggling as well. And
Yeah.
Do you write stuff down, like a to-do list type thing? That way you're like, okay, like next task I'm gonna like look into the VA project, but right now I'm looking at the metrics for this product that you needed to look into.
Yeah, I do that some, but usually I end up writing so many things on the list that it's like demotivating, because it's like, yeah, I know I can't accomplish that today, and it just like sits there and stares at me. It's like, oh, I am a failure.
Oh.
So maybe I'm just putting too much on the list, but that's absolutely a great method, and it has worked well for me in the past. Walks in between outside are huge. That's a good idea. I've done that a few times. Little tougher in the winter here. Maybe I need to get some skis or something. Yeah, snowshoes. Yeah.
Also, another thing about how I prefer to like structure my day is like, it is really nice, kind of like that, to be able to go on a walk at like 1 p.m. and like it's not your technical lunch break, and you don't have to be back at a certain time. Or like if I want to just like lay down and relax and like calm down after like something was frustrating, like I can just go do that. Like, don't have to ask anyone. Like, just go do it.
Hey, boss man, I'm gonna take a long lunch today. No, you won't.
No, sir.
Yeah, I think
hours.
Yeah. Yeah, and I will not be paying you for that lunch break, and you can stay late tonight. I think the ideal day for me, I find I feel really accomplished when I get up a little earlier, not super early, like 8 or 9, and I get in a solid maybe like 2 hours of work, and I find and spend a decent amount of money on inventory. That's the main like foundation of a reselling business, is purchasing inventory. So that's usually what I try to focus most of my time on. If I can get some really good spending done first thing in the morning for like 2 or so hours, I feel so much better the rest of the day. I'm relaxed. I feel like I've accomplished a lot of stuff, and it just helps my mindset. And then I take a break for a couple hours, hang out with my family, eat some food, do some other like family stuff, hanging out, maybe go do something outside, and then kind of come back to do a few more work related Amazon tasks in the late afternoon or evening. And that's helped me with I'm not working 8 hours, I'm not accomplishing anything. If I break it into a couple smaller chunks and spread it throughout the day, it kind of tricks my mind into thinking like, oh yeah, I worked all day. That's been good, but I'm not a super early morning person. I don't go to bed every day at the same time, usually up late, so I don't wake up at the same time. Pretty awful personal habits, but that's what works good for me. It's kind of funny because, I've never been a morning person. And then I was in the Army, or in a Army training environment for about 8 years, and you would think that would change who I am. Like, I was up at 4 or 5 a.m. for the better part of 8 years. But no, I got out and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna get up at 10 a.m. Their training didn't work. They didn't brainwash me effectively.
It's not like it matters.
No, it's and here's an interesting thought. Okay, so they say, I've had some friends that are like, oh man, you gotta be getting up early, and I'm like, okay, well, they say the early bird gets the worm, right? Well, what if I just stay up a little later and I beat the early bird to the worm, and then I go take a nap?
That's a good point.
Yeah. Jose, yes, I do eBay to Amazon. Probably about over 90% of my products are eBay to Amazon. Doing really well with that. That's kind of how Seth and I have connected over the past 8 months maybe we've been hanging out. Yeah, there's some cool opportunity there. Check out Seth's channel if you want to. Maybe you already are hanging out with Seth, but he's got a lot of good information on that.
Jose is always in the live stream.
Yeah.
Yes,
and
sir.
what's up, Echo Flips?
Echo Flips was here last time too.
Mm-hmm. Good to see you again, man. So you've got, besides your Amazon reselling, you've got kind of, I don't know what, like 3 kind of different business things you're working on right now. You got the reselling, you've got your coaching program, and you've got this social media content space. Is there a way that you divide your attention on those, or is it just pretty like fluid as you feel creative, you go make some YouTube? Or I know your coaching has like strict hours that you meet.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to delineate between those, and you probably feel that with Turo sometimes too. There's like as you go through a day and go through a week, if you have like a couple things going on, there's pressing things that need to be done for both of them, and more or less so as you go through the week. Like I think you went and like had to do some maintenance on a car recently, and so something like that might be more pressing and it's more of a priority for Monday. Whereas now that that's done on Tuesday, like purchasing inventory is the big thing, and you needed to check your account health or something. And it's kind of the same way with my stuff too. Like for example, with social media, there'll be certain times in the week where I need to give feedback on a YouTube video that's going to go up soon. So I need to like take care of that, or I need to record something or post, but then there's not a ton else to do besides that. And then for Amazon, like obviously got to purchase inventory, got to have everything running smoothly. There's always things with Amazon that like improve your efficiency. Like for example, me organizing my replenishable sheet so that I'm actually looking for stuff that's going to be in stock. That takes a lot of time. And then with the coaching program, it's like we do have like segmented times that we're meeting with people, but then even in the weeks where we don't have that, there is stuff like marketing it, or like talking to people about it, or improving the coaching program as a whole. Like we had to make like extra videos, helping people out, putting SOPs in place, putting spreadsheets in place. So it's kind of just like all over the place, to be completely honest. Learning how to do all that better would be really helpful for me.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's, you're absolutely right about the Turo. Yesterday spent, I don't know, a couple hours. Well, I picked up a vehicle from our parking location on Sunday evening, and then yesterday morning made a call to a mechanic to make sure they could fit us in. Took it over there. They did the oil change and some safety inspections, checked the brakes, everything's good to go. And then I replaced a what's it called, like the strut part that holds the back trunk open. It was starting to go, wasn't like, so replace that. I've been learning a lot about like car maintenance and stuff recently.
Yeah.
I kind of have to. Super cheap and easy, really cool. And so yeah, that kind of was the priority for yesterday, because that car just got picked up this morning for another booking. Had a really short like couple day window between, and it needed that stuff. And yeah, I fit in some Amazon stuff in between while I was waiting on that car. And yeah, it's we've kind of talked about it before, the prioritization. There's always more work to do, right? You got the eggs and the bouncy balls. And so yesterday for me, the maintenance was the egg. The bouncy ball is I can always do some of the Amazon stuff the next day. Short of like fulfilling merchant fulfilled stuff that if you don't ship it, you're going to get a bad mark on your account. You usually don't have Amazon stuff that has to be done today or the business will fail. Now, if you don't do anything for a month, yeah, you're going to be in a little bit of trouble. But yeah, that's a really good point. That is the beauty of self-employment. Yeah. Yeah. It's been really nice for like 2 years now, almost, having that lifestyle. I don't, probably a handful of times that I've woken up before 7 a.m. and it's usually been to go fishing. And that's pretty awesome. Or to go hop on an airplane to fly somewhere we want to go, like Miami earlier this year for the conference. Here's a question for you, Seth. I tried out when I was in Miami at the conference, trying to detach myself from the Amazon business, kind of relax a little bit, treat it a little bit more like a vacation while focusing on networking, meeting some other Amazon sellers. I know I'm pretty sure you tried to work throughout that, purchasing inventory and focusing on all that. Pros and cons. I like the idea of being able to take a break from our business, but mentally that's kind of tough. What was your experience earlier this year when you did that?
Yeah, to be completely honest, this goes pretty deep for me. I literally, it's really hard for me to take like more than like a day or two off. Like, I usually, kind of like you were saying earlier, you feel really good when you've purchased some inventory and then you can kind of relax the rest of the day. Like, if I haven't purchased inventory or like pushed things ahead in either Amazon or social media or whatever it is, like, it just doesn't feel good for me. Like, it's really hard to relax. I get more like angsty and like frustrated, sometimes even like kind of short with people. Cause like, I just like really like progress. I love progress. So yeah, that's something that I'm trying to learn how to do more, but yeah, it's really hard for me to not work more than like to take off more than like a day or two. And then with like the Miami thing, I was able to do a lot of the purchasing on my phone, which is super convenient. So I was able to kind of get that little bit of like keeping the business on pace and stuff, and also not spending very much time on it, which was cool.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so and that was because of some of the systems you had set up, right? You were mostly using the eBay saved searches, and so you'd get a little pop-up on your phone that whatever product X just
Pretty
got
much.
listed, and you could snipe it real quick.
Yep.
That's a really good way to do it. Yeah. Awesome. Well,
thank you for having me on.
Yeah, good chatting with you about that, Seth. We're gonna go on to Checkmate Flip's channel. I just tried to post the link there. I think it shows up.
I see it.
Sweet. So thanks for joining. Subscribe. Hit me up if you got any questions about eBay to Amazon or lifestyle of a entrepreneur. Entrepreneurial. Of an entrepreneur. Anyway, we'll see you next time.